Everybody, oh my God. I'm so freaking excited about tonight. Oh my gosh. Oh my princess. I'm so excited about tonight. I've got such a treat, such a treat. So this month, I have the really great privilege of interviewing some people that are really professionals in motivation, because I know entering the holiday season could be tough for a lot of people. It's not really the happiest of times, right? So the first person I have on tonight, holy fucking crap, dude. What a fan I am of this guy. I discovered him because I used one of his quotes for a picture that I did a couple months ago, and it was just really profound and poignant, and it talked about body positivity and just like doing things outside of what you think your limits are, right? So I reached out to him and I asked him if he would do this tonight, and goddamn, I'm so fucking honored. I have Robert Anthony with me tonight. Okay, he was on American Ninja Warrior. He has a foundation called Limpossible. He is a motivational expert, triathlete, freaking like outstanding human being. He was in the freaking World Cup in Nigeria, or going against Nigeria for soccer. He's just a model of someone who really understands that we have no limits except for the limits we place on ourselves. So I cannot wait to bring him on to hear his story. And I'm going to check to see if he is online right now. And holy shit, I'm just so happy to talk to him, man. So happy to talk to him. He is a kindred spirit for real. For real. Oh my gosh. Let me bring him in. Oh! I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yay, happiness.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Dude, life is good. Life is good because I choose happiness. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, when I was researching you, Mr. Rodriguez, now I went into this whole agreement thinking that you were just like, a positive person that I'd like to know. And I have such a heart for athletes, man, because I believe in that push through. But turns out you're kind of a creative yourself, huh?
Of course. Yes. All about creativity and trying to be your best self and choosing happiness. So I love what you said.
Absolutely. But you also rapped once upon a time, didn't you?
I did back in the day. Hip hop was my outlet, and music was everything to me. So, being a rapper, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a famous rapper. I just going to hip hop. That was my route.
That's freaking awesome, dude. I grew up in New Jersey. So the interview that I watched with you, right? You talked about just living in Queens and Brooklyn and everything. I want you to, I just feel so blessed and fortunate that you're here tonight. I really am. I have so much respect for you and your words and your message. I respect that you are such a good father and a strong family man. And just the love you have for others and really wanting to inspire people through your life, be it your actions and words. So tell my people a little bit about where you started out. And you wear a prosthetic. So start by telling that story.
Absolutely. So I'm missing my right leg below the knee. And I live in New York, born and raised, spent some time in Arizona. But when I was born, I had a birth defect called Fibular Hemimelia. So I only had 2 toes. I didn't have an ankle. Basically, my foot was flopping around and I only had a tibia bone. So my mom had to make a really tough decision to amputate my foot so that this way I could be in a prosthetic leg and have some type of normalcy in my life and run around like an everyday kid. So growing up, I had to learn how to deal with the disability, adapt to my lifestyle and some of the challenges that I faced.
Yeah, and I heard also too, you talk about the fact that you went into hiding for a long time with your prosthetic.
Yes.
You said some very powerful words that ring true to me too, man. Like there's empowerment in living your truth, right? So talk about what that was like for you to make the decision to, um, to just not be in hiding anymore.
Yeah, so again, I did, yeah, like you said, I didn't embrace my leg. A lot of us, one, I love what you do. And first, before I forget, the butterflies in the back, butterflies have been my symbol. We can talk about that towards the end, but something that I love. So I'm just wanted to point that out.
Dude, we are
But
kindred spirits, though. I gotta tell you, and when I go, I'm gonna be visiting. Hopefully, my family. My son is back in Jersey. I'm gonna be out your way in December. I would love to meet you face to face. Love to meet you
absolutely,
face
that
to
would be
face, man.
honor
Love
to
to meet you face to face. Kindred spirit, man.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Yes.
And yes, but at first I didn't embrace my leg, what I look like many of us, right? So I love the message that you give out about just being body positive, accepting who we are, because I spent many years running away from myself, running away from who I was, what I looked like, and I was embarrassed. I was insecure. I hid my leg. So for me, it was easy sometimes because I could wear pants and disguise myself. So I often consider myself a spy, if you will.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get my confidence, to believe in myself, and to figure out that the way that I looked and the things that happened to me were okay, and I needed to wear it, and I needed to keep my head up high and actually show the world my light opposed to dimming it. So, and I had to fight and go through turmoil to try to find my confidence to become the person that I am today.
Yeah, I truly believe that our faults and our imperfections are exactly the things that make us beautiful, as people. I take a strengths-based approach with every person that I encounter. And when I was doing work with mental health, you have got to focus on the strengths and even the weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd
Yeah.
be working with homeless clients, and I focus on their resilience, like how hard it must be to survive and thrive in that destitute situation. And how can we use those same tools to sort of empower us and bring us to a different place, And you know what, Robert, too, I'm so glad you're here, too, because the more I do this, I have a lot of men followers, right? About like 10% women, right? Which I don't mind at all, because the more I do this, the more I understand that men have just as many insecurities as women, if not more, because of the pressure that's on them to be strong all the time. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. I think that as a male, one, especially for social media purposes, we tend to follow women, right? And attractive women. And that's kind of how men, disguise some of those insecurities and create, these personas, if you will, and that macho, I'm a man, where it's not easy for a man to be in a vulnerable state. It's not manly to show your vulnerability, and maybe some of the things that actually hurt or that you are hurt, and then sometimes men, we reflect that hurt instead of just expressing how we feel in honesty. We do it in different ways, and sometimes it's detrimental or destructive to women specifically, right? And for your men followers, I'm honored to just be on the platform to just be a voice, to know that, hey, men, in our case, we have to show who we are, and that we don't have to keep up this facade of being stronger than we are, because this way we can teach others, especially the youth, on how to understand our emotions, so that this way we cannot let them control us and allow us to make bad decisions, because that's what usually happens. We do stupid things off our emotions, and because we don't understand them, we don't know how to control them. So
Yeah, dude, and that's everybody. You know what I'm saying? We got to get ourselves off autopilot, because when you start to focus your intentions, and this as an athlete, it's the difference between how fast that sprint is. You know what I'm saying? When that focused energy is so important, so important. So,
yes, ma'am.
so talk a little bit about the kinds of sports that you've been involved in and stuff. Like, I want to hear about that too. Like, I'm just so impressed, man. It's my bucket list goal to do a triathlete. I'm going to probably be like 70 when I do it, but it's still going to get done.
well, you do it. So first of all, age is nothing but a number. I've
Hell
been on
yeah.
the course, and there's been women who are 79 completing triathlons.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and do it. It's all up here.
That's right.
That's
That's
it.
right.
But sports is everything because it allows me, again, it's my new outlet. I don't rap anymore, so I got to find a way to express myself, and that I do that through sports and activity. I love competition. I'm a competitor, so competing is one of my favorite things to do, and that's how I deal with any of my depression or circumstances that I go through. Is I compete. I go out there. I find hobbies and sports that I like to do. Right now, I'm a player on the USA Amputee soccer team as well as a triathlete. And what I'm trying to do is compete at the highest level and potentially get to Paris in 2024.
Yes, yes, yes. And you will do it. You will
Yes,
do it.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Your whole, when I was like researching you, I swear I think I already saw you on American Ninja Warrior too. I did. I did.
Well, I love your intro. Thank you. Thank you. American Ninja Warrior was an amazing experience too. Obstacle courses, pushing yourself. I went into that and I was injured. I dislocated my shoulder a few weeks before I went on. But again, it's up here. It's mental. Sometimes things happen to us and they don't happen to us, they happen for us. And my life story has kind of been a testament to that.
Yeah, yeah. Talk a little bit about what it was like for you growing up, because I think that's where a lot of your foundation stemmed from. I know your parents, you have so much respect for your parents because they were hard workers and they were always looking out for you. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, growing up was not easy. Growing up with a disability, going through some of the tragedies that I've gone through at a young age, being a victim of a house fire and abuse. But my mom was my biggest advocate. She showed me, she didn't only just tell me, on how to be a good person or how to work hard. She showed me. She always had two jobs. She was always kind of pushing herself, and my dad, although he was around and wasn't around, he was constantly working, innovating for himself. So sometimes we take those examples. I was always a sponge. So I wanted to do and be an adult sooner when I was a kid, kind of like a lot of us, but I always felt like I was an adult because I was always around adults. So I saw adults working hard and grinding, that terminology. So
Yeah.
I've emulated that into my life now. But growing up, I mean, we all have a tough story. Well, not all of us, but some of us have tough stories throughout our lives. Mine just happened to be when I was younger, and that gave me tough skin and allowed me to now be an adult to affect the youth. Because I talk to kids now, not only who are disabled, but who go through suicide issues,
Yeah.
or depression, mental health, whether they're struggling with their weight, whether they're struggling with situations in their household. So some of the tough things that I went through, I hated it then. I used to feel like I was in a twilight zone, as I say, but they molded me into the person that I am now. And I try to pride myself on helping others. And that's kind of why I do what I do. I made a promise to myself to do so as an adult.
Absolutely. And I did that like I totally feel you, man. Because you grow up, and I know it's a lot of us and creative people too, right? Like we feel displaced. And I talked about this a lot last week, that whole sense of displacement and how you could take that and actually use it to your benefit. Because when you're in it, when you're in that dark, when you're in that confusion, the twilight zone, you don't feel like there's any light that's going to come out of it, right? So talk about some ways that people can actually turn that situation into a positive experience. Like I use the word reframing a lot. I'm like queen of reframe. I could take anything that's negative and put a positive spin on it, but you have to actually want to put a positive spin on it. So what are some tactics that have worked for you when you're looking back in retrospect?
Of course. So tactics that I'm actually still using now, because every day is a struggle realistically in these times, trying to remotivate ourselves. But I like what you just said. So what I often find, especially this time of year actually, is that we have to reinvent. We have to reframe, as you said, maybe some of the goals that we had, what our new aspirations are, and try not to be too down on ourselves. Now, I'm big on beating myself up.
Me
So
too, man.
yeah, but that's good. That's good, right? What sign are you? What's your?
I'm a Virgo.
You're a Virgo. All right, there you go. I'm an Aries, right? So I'm a fire sign. So I try not to beat myself up too much, or stay in that low level. But what I do is I have videos on YouTube, right? I'll jump on YouTube, utilize some of those videos, maybe of good speeches, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, just to pick myself up, to hear some positive confirmation. because there's so many other negative things on the news and on TV and that can influence us. We have to, the stimulation is overwhelming right now,
Yeah.
right? Screens. I don't know how many screens you have around you, but I'm sure we all have at least 3 or 4 screens around us. Sometimes it's too much. So separating myself from that stimulation and trying to find some positivity deep within myself. We're all getting lost. I think this virtual world we're losing ourselves because we're not being one. So I try to spend some time alone, time with my family, and exercise. Fitness is the way that I get out of my depression. It's the way that I got out of my depression with COVID, is just by doing some activity. And I recommend that to anybody. It could just be taking a walk. So my mom, she's on her Fitbit. She just steps in mid-conversation. That's her activity. Maybe it's, like I said, some people, it's golf, whatever it may be, just getting your heart rate up, doing something active, taking your mind off of things. Almost like when you were a kid and you went to recess or gym.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking about nothing else but getting picked to play tag, to have fun, to run around with your friends. So as adults, we need some recess.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with you. I've struggled in my life, not so much now because I've really learned yoga and Pilates techniques for the mind-body connection. But in my lifetime, I definitely experienced body dysmorphia. And I think it's because I get really stuck inside my head sometimes. And this happens to a lot of creative people too, right? We just get like trapped there. And my experience, because I had an academic discharge from the college that I was going to. And once I didn't have that identity of musician on my shoulders anymore, I totally lost myself, So I think exercise is so important because it just reaffirms the breathing and the time to really just feel yourself, feel your body move, and we get so caught up where we're not even paying attention. We go into these automatic responses for stuff. And when you're able to exert healthy energy like that, God, what it does for your endorphins is incredible, and it's a part of the process of healing. So
yes. But what you just said is key, right? It's like, how do we respond right now? How the heck do we respond to anything that's going on? We don't know, but activity, that's why I like running, or doing triathlons, because you have to find a way to respond, to that event. But it also teaches you in life, because so many things are being thrown at us. We got to be able to take a deep breath and figure out a way. And sometimes it could be yoga, it could be Pilates, whatever it is you like to do. Just find something that's going to get up and get you moving and take your mind off of all of the craziness, have some fun. Can't just be going out to drink and party all the time, although that's fun too.
Everything's about balance though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about balance, I don't listen. If there's anyone out there who believes in just living your freaking truth, no matter what extremity it is, I'm down for whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't judge. But there has to be a balance and there has to be a main conscious point, so that's important. What is your primary focus? You know what I'm saying? And what I love about you is you are always looking about to the bigger picture. You're not just you, but your role and how you can impact other lives. And I'm all about that. So talk about speaking and how you got involved in speaking in the broad spectrum. And also too, Robert, I want you to talk about what it was like starting out as a speaker, because people think that you do this stuff and overnight you're making bank, you know what I'm saying? I've seen things advertised even have this many followers and freaking you'll get this amount of money, and it doesn't work like that, dude. I have 140K, and if I make $1.53 this week, I'm woo, I'm balling. You know what I'm saying? So talk about that.
Yeah. So speaking is great to have my own company. It took me a long time to build it up. It's not done overnight. And it's always a work in progress. So that's number one, and starting your own business, no matter what it is, it will always be that. Well, as you alluded to before, being on stage, I was always rapping, so I actually have a microphone tattooed on my arm, and that was to rap, which the quote that I have here is, if you believe, then they'll believe too. So that also coincides with that, because I had to realize once I believed in myself, other people will believe in me as well. So if you believe, then they'll believe too. And I had that microphone as a rapper, but now I have it because I'm a speaker. And how I started was I was a part of a basketball team called Amp1 Basketball. And everyone was missing either their leg or an arm. And we would play 4 quarters of basketball. When you're missing a limb, they usually want you in a wheelchair. But we played 4 quarters standing up amputee basketball. And we would beat people who had all their limbs and their legs, 10, 15 points. We've played D1 colleges. We did NBA halftimes. We were a spectacle. It was amazing to do what we were doing as far as sports. But what we would do is go to a city, and we would also speak. We would speak at the schools or local events, tell people about our games, and we would do these motivational speeches and tell them about our stories. And that opened my eyes to speaking. And we were in Indiana, and we did a trip, and we spoke at a church. We won the basketball game, and when we got back, we got a message on Facebook by a young lady who said her parents were divorced or getting divorced, and she wasn't doing well in school, and that she had plans to take her life that weekend. But she came to the church. Her best friend convinced her, and she saw us play, heard our message to never give up, and that inspired her to help other kids like herself. So that point on, I knew that basketball was great and sports was amazing, but the speaking and the motivational part hit home. And so I came back to New York after that. I started trying to get gigs for our basketball team and building it up. And I did that for about 3 to 4 years, traveled everywhere. We spoke hours at schools, hours at events, until I tried to figure out how to get paid for it. Ultimately, I started doing that about 5 years ago and started getting paid for it after doing it for free for about 3 years. And so then once I started getting my first check, then built it up from there and learned how to build my business, to stay on top of things, write things down, to be strategic and be organized, so that this way I can put it out to the public more and develop my story and just try to be the best speaker that I can be. And from that point on, more doors opened, and I've been able to speak at the U.S. Department of Health, CNBC, Nike, so on and so forth. So it's been an amazing experience, and I just try to continue to be myself, to be a leader, and speak my truth.
Talk a little bit more about the importance of being yourself and true to yourself, please.
Yes. I just think we have to, it's hard. Again, I think we all are getting separated from who we are, right now. And I can't hold that against anyone. It's confusing. 60 years ago, if you were us in our ages, you would have you go to work, you come home, you take care of your family. There was a routine or a rubric almost to follow. Now you have so many options. You can be and do whatever and whoever you want. And well, first I want to say shout out to the chat room as well before I continue. Shout out to the chat room. Everyone in there showing love. We see y'all, and so thank you guys for tuning in. But in regards to who you are, and right now it's hard for us to figure that out. And living your truth. So I say to people, you might change. You might have to reframe every year. Things change. So just be willing to ride the wave and not fight the wave, and understand this year your heart may be into doing this. So just go with the signs. The people that you meet, the network, and allow the universe to give you those signs, and go with that, and understand that it might change up, and you got to go with that. Because I always talk about passion and purpose, right? So sometimes we're passionate about something, but our passion might not be our purpose, because I wanted to be a rapper. I was passionate about it, but my purpose was to speak, and it might be the same for others. But that passion leads you to your purpose of why we're here. We all need a purpose, and it might not be different. We're not all here to be set to be famous or to be this or be that. We need to be who we are, just do what you love. And if you can do that every day, or more days than not, that's where happiness is, progress.
Yeah. What were you doing before you got into public speaking? What was your day job? What kind of stuff did you do?
That's a great thing. So, I still currently right now work for a prosthetic company too. So I have my speaking business, and I help people after they lose a limb as well. So I help them get into a prosthetic leg, whether they lost their leg to cancer or diabetes or car accident. So that's something that I found that I love as well, is helping people, working in prosthetics and helping people like myself. Prior to doing that and speaking in sports and being able to turn that into a career and to have some income, my job, I was on the phones. I was doing sales. I did collections for companies like Bank of America, Cablevision, T-Mobile. I was selling products. So I had the gift of gab. And that was my thing. I thought I was just going to be a sales guy before I was able to, find my way and find my passion and my purpose.
Yeah, you learned how to sell yourself
Yeah,
and your
it helps.
story.
It
You know
helps.
what I'm saying? No, and the reason why I brought that up is because I think a lot of people, they don't have a realistic timeline on the process. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have an idea, you can have a vision, you can have a calling, you can have a purpose, right? But then it's the dedication it takes to actually like follow that through. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people lose sight on. And it's really important that I want people on my page to understand that, you know what, you got to be patient through the process and just keep diligent. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're doing what you love, eventually everything else is going to fall in line. And it takes about 2 years when you decide to be like an entrepreneur or a creative, at about 2 years before you can actually like start taking a little bit of a breath. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah. Things started looking better in my second year as well, without question. You know, the first few years were tough, but the second year things started picking up because you learn as you go, and you only learn by making mistakes. Failure is a part of the process. So if you can stick it out through the failure and understand that great things on the other side, then you'll win. You know, right now, so there's a show on Netflix. Many of you might have seen. It's called Ink Masters. Well, I'm on Ink Masters, and I did it 12 years ago, right? But and some people know that I've done it. It's on my resume. But like right now, a year ago, especially because of COVID, they re-released Ink Masters and put it on Netflix. So it's a season 1, episode 5. You go tune in. I got braids and stuff, you know, back then or whatever. Uh, but yeah, but people like, hey, you are on Ink Masters and so on so. But it's something I did 12 years ago, but it just started coming to light now. And that's not only the only project. I have a lot of those examples, but people gotta understand. You gotta take time. Like you said, it's not done overnight. Just be consistent. In a day and age where consistency is not preached, where we can jump around to this relationship or this company or this, you know, situation, just be consistent, and it will start to pay off in the long run. You know, dividends, as they say.
dude, that's such a point, man, because like people have anxiety, you know? Like people, everybody has anxiety, and it's because all of these distractions that are being thrown out of us, we don't know how to make decisions anymore. You know what I'm saying? There are too many fucking options. You know, like, no, I'm gonna keep it real. Let me
Yep.
tell you, I have not, I don't watch TV. You know what I'm saying? So I know myself. I'm at a point of really knowing myself, so I limit things that I know are going to be distracting in my life, right? Hence why I don't have a man too. You know what I'm saying? But like anything I know is going to be a distraction to me while I'm going through this journey, I try to shut off, you know? So how do you maintain your focus? Like do you have a routine that, what does your day look like? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think every day, for me, every day is different because I have a lot of things that I'm juggling. So, you know, being a parent, like I said, working in prosthetics, having your own company, being an athlete. So things are different. But what I think for us is a routine. You got to have some type of routine. You know, anyone who's successful has a routine,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so maybe it's reading, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's exercising in the morning or at night or at lunch. You know, I think it's finding that routine. So for me, I try to have my routinely things, whether it's daily or weekly, certain things that I do consistently that keep me aligned, that bring me back to Zen, bring me
Yeah.
back to, okay, this is a comfortable space, you know, because we can get lost out here. And I
Yeah.
see so many people getting lost out here, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But we got to find something that you like. Again, it could be that recess mentality. Maybe it's a sport. Maybe it's being by yourself. Maybe it's going to the movies. Maybe it's getting a massage. You know, maybe it's going to a restaurant by yourself. You know, and getting your favorite meal, right? So like every once in a while, I might go get some crab legs. You know, and just by myself because I love crab legs. You know, just certain to treat yourself, to bring you back to one. And if you can find that little nuance in your life, it'll make sense. You know, without getting caught up in your everyday.
Yeah, so important, so important. But my morning mantra and my morning exercise time, or if I can't exercise in the morning, I do it at night. You know what I'm saying? But my mantra, that time that I just wake up before things start getting loud and the hustle starts getting crazy and everything's in my face, and just sitting there and grounding, that's so important for me. That's so important. So, you know, I don't want people out there to get, you don't have to be doing everything. You know what I'm saying? start with just one thing that you could be consistent with every day, right? And then build off of that. You know what I'm saying? Because the one is powerful. The one thing, there's power in that one.
Yeah. I would say don't do everything if you don't have to. Try to.
Yeah,
Sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more,
absolutely.
especially right now. I don't think this is a time that we should put too much weight on ourselves. Just like you said, get that one thing done and see that through.
Yeah, absolutely. And then take time to like congratulate yourself for actually accomplishing something. You know what I'm saying? Because I think people are so freaking quick to just put themselves down with negative self-talk and the way they're not realizing the power in their words. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, if it takes fucking going in a mirror and giving yourself self affirmations, like do whatever it takes to get your mind right. I love that you said that you listen to other speakers, because I think that's so important, taking the time to improve the quality of your mindset by gleaning from other people that will motivate you,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You got to study anything you love to do. Study it, right? So if you want to be a speaker or an athlete or a model or anything, you got to embrace it, love it, follow other people, and dive into it. Be obsessed, if you will.
Yeah. Talk about the nonprofit. What was that like starting a nonprofit agency?
Yeah, so it's a few things. So I'm a part of a ton of nonprofits, that do amazing things. So Limpossible is my speaking company, which we are for-profit business, and then I have Limkind, which is the nonprofit business that we have, where we help children around the world who might have lost their legs to unseen circumstances. So we've gone to Haiti, to Africa, to the Philippines, and we've helped children who've gotten their legs taken off by machetes in fights, bitten off by hyenas, lost their legs in an earthquake, born with birth defects because of chemicals in the country. So many insane situations that understand how good we have it here. I know kids I've seen kids that were naked, right? Or
Yeah.
they had clothes that were just 10 times their size because that was all they can find or that was given, so understanding that every day we wake up, we are extremely blessed, and so that nonprofit, the Limkind Foundation, we help a ton of children all around the world, and we actually have an office here in New York, which is now in Queens. So I encourage everyone to look up the Limkind Foundation or my company, Limpossible, and what we do is just try to help, and to also just create a platform for other people so that they can be seen and have awareness.
I love that. I love that. I love that you see things from a worldview. That's the other thing, right? So,
Sometimes.
oh. Well, it's important. It's important. You know what I'm saying? Because especially like Americans, we can get caught up in the unnecessary rewards. You know what I'm saying? But when you're telling me you're going to different countries and like people who have been impacted by machetes, you know what I'm saying? Like just that attitude of gratitude. All right, like talk about how important that is to be grateful, like going into like Thanksgiving coming up and stuff like that. Just
Great segue. So I think yes. So Thanksgiving is actually a perfect time to reflect. I think this month of on all the things that we've all been through, and again, yeah, I've gone out of country and seen some of these people, especially kids, in these horrific situations. But then I myself too get caught up in the everyday life and just materials and my life and things that aren't so bad, feeling like life is too much when
yeah,
it's really not that bad at all, and like you said, the attitude of gratitude, just appreciating what we have, right? Like,
yeah,
man, I've lost people and I try to go back to that. So I try to always think about, all right, you know what? Because I've heard other successful people say this and think this. We're all gonna die,
yeah,
That's
dude.
what we're all guaranteed to, right? So every day, how can I be better today? How can I not be in this funk? How can I take this negative situation, like losing my leg, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
having a prosthetic leg, how can I take this and turn it into a positive? So if I was able to do that with my life, I'd be able to do that with the fact that I was abused or that I was in a fire and help other people. And that's kind of what brings me back when I talk to someone else who has it harder than I have it now. Because right now, I'm truly blessed. Got a
yeah,
wonderful wife. I have two beautiful, healthy children. And I'm able to, every day live to help people. And I'm extremely blessed, but I want to make sure that I give that to the next kid who's
Yeah.
struggling or the person who's struggling right now. And I think that brings me back to my appreciation for others. I think that if you can just look around and say, literally, if you like to take a hot shower and you can go take a hot shower right now, like that's something to be thankful for, and go spend 15 minutes in the shower and cleanse yourself. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whatever it is, hold on to the small things.
Oh God, I agree so much. I agree so much. I went through a lot of traumas early on too, and when I was a kid, some heavy traumas. You know what I'm saying? And I just love that you spend time talking to children. To me, that's so important, because they don't realize that. I tell myself this phrase: "This is only temporary." Right? When I was going through some of my darkest times, even trying to break the cycle of dysfunction, right? I had to keep telling myself, this is only a temporary situation. This is only a temporary situation. You know what I'm saying? And we lose so many kids, right, as they become adults. And there's all of this untapped potential because they haven't discovered who they are, minus the freaking trauma. You know what I'm saying? So what have been some of your favorite experiences about working with kids?
Yeah, yeah. The thing about the future leaders, as I often like to say, is just knowing that they have an opportunity to do better and to be better, right? So knowing that, hey, if I can affect them, like somebody who might have, maybe the one person that affected me, how I looked up to them as a kid, and tapping into that, trying to be that person for them, and understanding that one day that they will be an adult. I think that one thing we miss out on kids is that we always forget that they're going to be adults one day.
Yeah.
So, excuse my language, but if you're an asshole to the younger generation or whatever the case is, and you're just not doing anything for the next generation, like that's going to reflect later on. These people will grow up and then they will see you as that person. Especially if you're a parent and you didn't do the right thing, right? Eventually your kids will be adults and then they're going to talk about you and the example that you made, whether you're good or you were bad. So, yeah, I love working with the youth, and I want to make sure that I give that confidence. And if I can help that little boy or girl not go through some of the pain that I went through, or that searching or being lost, help them find themselves earlier, give them confidence earlier, then they'll be able to do the same and pay it forward.
Or just let them know it's okay to be different. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Because I think my daughter's 12 and I'm struggling this year with her because she's a 12-year-old, right?
Woo! Hats off to
Middle
you,
school
lady.
year, man, I'm telling you, it's rough.
Oh
But
man.
I have to remind myself of that as a parent, right? Like, because she's still growing, you know what I'm saying? She like morphed into like this adult kind of body, but like she's still a kid, And so just being patient with yourself as a parent, and understanding that kids are allowed to make mistakes, and it's all right. It's all right. And letting her know that it's okay to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So, and the flip side of that is when I'm working with adults, I always try to get them to go back to that childlike mentality. You know what I'm saying? So whether you're working with a child or an adult, it's like you still want to find that pure space of being a child when you are uninhibited
Yeah.
before the fear set in. You know what I'm saying? That's important. So do you talk to your people about like that fear barrier at all? And do you have any words about that?
Well, first of all, I'm scared for you. My daughter's 7, going on 12. I feel like,
Dude.
or 14. It's a lot. My daughter is sassy and all. So, man,
Oh, girls are rough. Or
yeah,
at least this girl is. I have two kids. I have two older kids. I have a 27-year-old and a 22-year-old. And like, golly, it's just a different generation, It's between raising the first round and then this girl, because of that social media component, like I think that it's so strong. They really believe that they're older than they are. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? They believe that, and that can be frustrating to work with.
Oh, 100%. It's a different day and age, and so we have to learn how to deal with that. And
Yeah.
to your fear question, I think, we all have fear. I think as a person, we have to understand is for anyone who has a license, when you first started driving your car and, we were all scared. We were looking both ways. We had 10-2, and all, we were just locked in. But then a year later, you got one hand on the wheel, changing the radio and doing your thing. And life is like that. Life gets easier. You get more comfortable as you go, and you want fear, right? Because as a kid, you had fear. The older you get, you fear you don't do things. But as a kid, you were fearful and you did it, and you found out whether you got hurt or not. If you touch the stove and it actually burnt you, opposed to when mom or dad just say it. So it's right now we have to understand is that those experiences that we went through and that we learned, that it's the same way as an adult, whether you're buying a house or just a bigger obstacle, attack that fear and it won't be so bad. It doesn't turn out so bad, but a challenge is there to be taken on.
Yeah, my friend Angelo a couple weeks ago, man, he was saying that if something does not scare you, that means that you're not setting your goal high enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure. And but not everybody thinks like that. You know what I'm saying? And I want everybody who's listening right now to understand that this mindset we've adapted, you're looking at two people right now that have been through some heavy shit in life. All right. And you have got to choose how you let those heavy things impact your life. It has got to be a choice. It has got to be a choice. Woo. You know what I'm saying? So talk more about that, man.
No,
talk about the power of the choice.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, what else can I say with that? You do have to choose. It's completely you every day. That's all. It's just an everyday thing. That's all. Just because you chose happiness yesterday doesn't mean that today that you have to wake up and choose it again. No matter what happens, no matter whether you ran out of toothpaste, your bank account's all negative, you're late to work, whatever it is, still choose happiness. No matter what doesn't go your way, it's a choice every day. I even say it to my son, even when he's mad, smile, just smile. I don't want to. Yeah. Because as soon as he starts smiling, you start feeling better. It convinces your body that, what? Okay, I'm starting to feel better. Even if you're faking it, right? Yeah. Everybody in the chat room, you guys just try to smile, even if you're not feeling it right now, and you force that smile, you'll feel a little bit better. So choose happiness, choose to smile, and it's easier said than done. But in the moment, if you can take a deep breath and just say, you know what, I'm not going to allow this to affect me emotionally, and I'm going to respond with strength and positivity, and it becomes that much easier.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. My daughters and I, we do this thing right here. You can't laugh and frown at the same time. Like, and I'd rather be laughing every day, but if you try, it's just so funny because you look like you're like, it's great.
I love it.
It's good stuff.
True. It's true. You're speaking some facts right now. So
yeah. No doubt. So what kinds of things do you have coming up, man? Like, and I'm going to take before like we wind down, like I just want to take a little bit of time to make sure that I plug you where people can find you, how people can help out your efforts, just give us your info.
Yeah, absolutely. So for one, people can follow me here, of course. I see that I got a few follows. I will follow you guys back as soon as we're done. So thank you for that. And Impossible, you can Google Robert Anthony or Robert Rodriguez or Robert Anthony Amputee, however you want to create it in Google. And the foundations that I'm a part of, if you want to support a nonprofit, is the Limcon Foundation. And if you would love for me to come speak at your event, you can holler at me at Impossible, of course, and I'll be honored to. And if you are a soccer fan, you can look into the U.S. Amputee Soccer Association, and you guys can be a part of that as well. We appreciate any support that you guys are giving, and just know that it gives younger kids opportunities on either, whether it's on an athletic realm or providing them with prosthetics or the care that they need. So that's one. But Robert Anthony. So please follow me. I'll follow you guys back. And what's coming up next? Right now, I'm just gearing up for triathlon. Yeah. And the big goal is, for one, is to finish this year strong. So that's number one, and start the new year off right. I have some projects that I'm working on right now, and so I don't want to say too much about those, but I'm creating them. And then just triathlon. That's really the focus, is getting better. I'm going to USA Para-Tri camp next week, actually. So I'll be out there for about 4 or 5 days training and it's just become the best athlete as possible and taking care of my family, man. I've been so busy doing so many things. I want to make sure that we make sure my kids are doing good,
Yeah.
schoolwork is in, that we're creating good habits. So right now it's taking care of my family, taking care of my body, and taking care of my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's freaking awesome, dude. I want people to understand that the competition is really never against someone else. The competition is always you against you. You know what I'm saying?
Always, always.
What have been some of the best I know you're a reflective guy. What have been some of the best lessons you've learned throughout the course of your life that help sort of keep you motivated and grounded?
The lesson that I try to still work on every day. My biggest lesson is just not to worry so much. We
Yes.
all can be worry warts, right? Or we don't want to be worry warts. We want to be worry warriors, and we want to fight that out. We don't want to have the weight of ourselves. We build things up so big in our mind, and they say don't turn a mountain don't turn a molehill into a mountain, and that's the truth. I try to see these problems through, try to look at them as not so big and knock them out. That's just the truth. Every day, just try to keep pushing and be your best self. That's really just my motto. No one's perfect. You fall short. That's okay. It's part of the lesson is scraping your knee and realizing that, the true strength was getting back up.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude. Listen, when I was playing the guitar a couple weeks ago, I just love that whole scar analogy because people are afraid to like wear their scars. You know what I'm saying? But to me, scars are beautiful, right? Scars
Yes.
mean that I have pushed through and I've learned something. And like I was playing the guitar and my fingers were all like cracked up and callous. But you know what? That just shows my effort to strengthen my skill. You know what I'm saying? So and I try to view who we are as people the same way. Scars are beautiful, man. Scars are beautiful, and I know you share that philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that scars tell a story, and that's who we are. So
Yeah.
just kind of wear them proudly.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh, the other stuff too, man. Ah, when you are talking to people, sometimes you have very, very large crowds that you work with as well. And what do you prefer? Do you like large settings or do you like smaller, intimate settings?
I like all, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. It just depends on how I'm feeling at the moment. But the truth is, I love big stages, so it's fun. So I love speaking in front of thousands of people because it puts me in this zone, and it's like almost like outer body experience. I'm kind of like just passion kind of coming out. But then I also like one-on-ones, and if I'm in a room and it's like 10 people and we're getting close and they're asking questions and I can really give them some feedback. So I enjoy all of the settings. I think it's just more about what's happening. Wherever, I'm a God-fearing man, so wherever God or the universe puts me, so if I'm supposed to be here at that moment, then that's where,
Yeah.
that's where I am. And I just try to give my best self.
Yeah. I like the fact that you used the term water before too. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of being malleable? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, so I mean, yeah, I mean, 100%. So I think that being healthy is key, right? So what you put in your body is the same thing. You feed your body is what you feed in your mind are important, right? What health is wealth. So if I'm not healthy, how can I do anything, right? How can I wake up being sluggish? There's been times where I've put crap into my body, or you talk about water, right? Um,
well, even beyond that, I'm gonna let you finish your thought. But I was
go
talking about the whole flexibility of person, though. You know what I'm saying? Like when you were saying like you, when I view just like living and trying to be adaptable, you know what I'm saying? Like to me that's important. You know what I'm saying? And turning into like the big crowd, little crowd, you are able to do both because you let yourself be free to do both forms. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's an important lesson in just allowing yourself to be flexible, you know, and not go into life with such a rigid kind of idea of what things should look like. So,
No, that you just said it. I mean, that's
yeah.
it. That is the truth right there. That is it. You know, I think it's just being able to adapt to the situation as it is. You know, but you know, for me, I just try to allow it to not fight it as much because if you do, then I let my emotions get involved and oh, I don't want to be here or I'd rather be somewhere else, and then I'm not doing anyone a good service. So
Yeah.
just allow it to be to whatever it is, to accept it, to be there in the moment, not be thinking about future or past, and you know, accept it. Whether you fail, you know, do well or you don't. You know, I've had many speeches or situations where I might have not done as well as I wanted to, and you just treat those as learning experiences.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, that's what I was asking about. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that you
I
went
pro-
like the health route though,
no,
because that's so
because you know
freaking
why? Because I
important,
always
man.
because it is important. It's important to me, especially
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I talk to a lot of my people just about feeling crappy, and a part of it is just about what you're giving yourself every day.
Yeah,
You know, again, what you're feeding yourself, what you're looking at on your feed, and what you're feeding yourself in your body, and that just
literally.
plays it. You know, it plays into your psyche, and you know, it doesn't help you be less indecisive or to be successful.
Do you have any like tricks? Like my whole thing is I do a quarterly detox. To me, that really helps me just stay, I don't know, good with like getting all the crap out of my system.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And there are other things that I've used like palm size portioning and freaking like making sure that like if you are eating, it's like every 3 hours and then cut off a certain time of night, you know, like just to, what are some things? I think metabolism, right? People don't understand that you could switch your metabolism up, and that energy point, like, is so important. Like, people always go into being healthy and look at it as complicated, and it's really, really not once you know what you're doing. So
Yeah.
can you talk about that a little bit? This is so important. How what are some things that people can do to keep themselves optimal with energy?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing is say no. Say
Yeah.
no to all the stuff sometimes that you want. Because I have to, okay, I'm gonna say no to these donuts. Okay, I'm gonna say no to this ice cream. You know, that's for me. Because I look at it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna say no to this brownie and ice cream, this hot fudge brownie. So first thing is that, shut it down. But greens, I try to make sure that I'm watching what I eat. So greens, I don't eat pork. So I have just this is what I do and don't eat, right? Dietary. So that's it. So once you have that, there's no negotiating. This is
Yeah.
what I do and don't eat. Then that's off the board already. So say no to the junk. Now this is what I eat. Now just finding those meals, and then every once in a while treating yourself. But I will fast probably once a month, meaning I might have breakfast, something light for lunch, and not have a dinner. You
Yeah.
know, and go at least like 16, 18 hours, maybe not eating, just to allow my stomach to kind of to regenerate in a sense. Things like that. And then again, greens, because they provide energy. I instantly feel better when I have kale and spinach and I put it in a smoothie, because smoothies or anything blended is easier to digest for your body. You don't have to break it down. So blending food, and again, a lot of greens. I can't stress that enough.
Absolutely, man. I have kale every morning in my shake. It's just the darker the color of the green too, like the better it is for your body, and that's something that you got to understand as well. So, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said it because, like, honestly, I got a fat girl heart. So, like a couple days ago, I was sitting there like with freaking frosting in a spoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the
Woo.
thing is, you need to know when to get back on track and balance and know what your priorities are. And if it comes down to me feeling healthy and feeling good because I'm fueling myself right, as opposed to feeling like garbage all the time because I had too much sugar. Guess what? Sugar's got to go, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
You
got to
know?
coach yourself. You got to be a coach. So you got to tell yourself no. You got to be hard on yourself. Man, listen, there's so apple cinnamon empanadas. We went out to dinner and I'm like, oh, God, I want to get the dessert. But it's like sometimes you got to say no. No, enough is enough, and we'll be good. If you do good for the next 3 weeks, we can get this at another time,
Yeah, no
But
doubt. No
yeah.
doubt. I can't even imagine the what goes into training for a triathlon as well too, because you're working on endurance as well, like
Yes. Watching what you eat, a lot of training every day, a lot of commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know the reward. You know, I always say that the reward is like it's so worth it. It's just worth it, you know? And I'm not even talking about if you win first or you know, a bronze medal or silver or anything like that, like or gold. Like I'm talking about just like that sense of accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so glad. I want to bring it back before we close just to that point and tell everybody again what Robert said was you have to build small accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Like just build small accomplishments, you know?
Little things. You do the small things. That's what matters, especially right now. I would say, to anyone who's listened who took anything from this conversation is do commit to something that you love and allow that to bring you to where you need to be. And that's it. Just stick it out. Don't quit when it gets hard. As long as you're doing good and you feel like it's the right thing to do, then it's going to lead you in the right way.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Yay and happiness.
So,
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, man.
thank you for
And
having me.
I'm gonna hit you up, me and my daughter. I'd love to meet your family and stuff. You're just a really good guy, a really, really good guy, man.
Thank
And
you
what
so much. I really appreciate that.
and I just love like meeting other people that are passionate about like being a servant, you know what I'm saying? Because we're heavy overachievers, aren't we? Right? Like we
Oh
got
yeah,
that overachiever mindset. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to, it's not about us. We're like trying to serve others, you know? So I just wish you so many blessings going forward. And I know you're gonna blow up even further. And I'm just I just feel so honored to have been able to talk to you this hour and we're gonna be friends.
thank you so much. I want to say thank you so much for having me on, what you do, and what I wanted to share before we go is just that what's important to me is that through this time, what I've learned is the butterfly. The butterfly is really important to me because it's been a sign throughout COVID, and people who know me know I've often been saying this. It's just about the caterpillar who is a ground creature who no one's really even looking twice at, and then it has to go into this dark, lonely space, kind of like what we did, calling it like the COVID cocoon, and we're confined to our houses and our spaces, and it's dark, it's lonely, and growing pains, and we're changing, and it is painful. Who knows what the caterpillar feels like? But right? When they come out of this space, this dark, lonely space, they have new abilities to fly, and they're colorful, So while we're in this time, I encourage everyone to work on yourselves because this is a cocoon we're in and we're going to come out of it. So let's come out of it better, more beautiful and bright. And that's why I love butterflies. I can't even tell you how many signs, how many people I've had these conversations with. So it's an honor to be on your show. And thank you for having me on your platform because you're beautiful and what you're promoting for people, but especially women is amazing. So thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Robert, man. Maybe hopefully I'll get in contact with you. Maybe we can collaborate on other things too, man, because I'm all about bringing positive energy to the masses. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so passionate about that. And this is still, it's early phases for me, but I got vision too.
Stop.
Yeah, and there's so much we haven't talked about yet either too. My son was a burn victim as well. So I spent 3 months in ICU with him. Because he caught on fire and has 2nd and 3rd degree scarring, 70% on his body, So it's like, and this is what I'm trying to tell people, man. You could be through some crazy stuff. And when it comes down to it, it's not what your body is. This is a matter of heart condition. This is a matter of mindset. This is a matter of your ability to see yourself beyond the surface, and you are such a reflection of that. And I just have so much love and appreciation for you. Thank you so much. Thank you
so much. I'm looking forward to doing more. Just let me know it's the first time, not the last time.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yes. Maybe I'll have you rap on a track too.
Next day, let's do it. Let's do it.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I'll bring out Chino Vega for you. I got you. No worries.
Yes.
Yes.
All love to you, man. All right.
You too. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude. I love that guy. I really do. He's such a cool person. He's such a well-grounded person. He's such a positive heart for helping. And we're very similar in the fact where like we know that we love to pour out to other people and build with other people, but it's also important to focus on our own personal goals. You know what I'm saying? Life is about balance. You've got to learn how to balance everything that you have to work with, and a key thing in assisting that process is to shut off the fucking distractions. And that's what he was talking about. So I think that's so important because there's so many things coming at us every single day that we can lose sight of our purpose, right? Because all of a sudden we're passionate about tons of things, right? So the more you can narrow it down like a funnel, right? And stay committed, start small, the more you can have that sort of avalanche effect. You know what I'm saying? It's like a snowball. So that it's so important. But I just want you to know, that just because you have physical ailments, just because you have mental health ailments, just because, don't get stuck in that fucking victim mindset, man. That's all I'm trying to say, right? Because the only person that keeps us a victim of any kind of thing in life is ourselves. You got to learn how to free your mind from that way of thinking and stop saying I can't. I don't say that fucking word, dude. Are you an I canter? Because I am sure the hell am not. When people ask me why, I'm like, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, switch the way you think. And that has to be a daily commitment. Every single day, you've got to make a choice to not react, but respond. And you respond in a good way by giving yourself the pause, right? Like, it's just retraining the brain, dude, because when you can conquer this, you fucking conquer everything in the world is yours. It really is. It really fucking is. It really is. And you cannot give up. Don't give up. Don't give up, all right? What your ailment is fucking makes you beautiful. This is what you got to understand. So that being said, next week, I was so excited. You know why? Because I have the beautiful Amanda LeCount. She's a freaking plus positive dancer who's going to be online with me. I'm so fucking excited. I saw this girl on freaking America's Got Talent years ago, right? And then I followed her, and she's in LA too. We're gonna have a slightly earlier live next week. It's gonna start at 4 p.m. because she's a busy chick. She's been in freaking music videos doing her thing. She preaches body positivity. I cannot wait to have a chat with this girl because her and I are gonna talk about like who the fuck cares what you look like. Just go out and live, baby. Just go out and live. Man, oh man. Stop telling yourself things that are going to stop you from living, okay? You got to shut that shit up. You need to be your biggest cheerleader, all right? You've got to fill yourself with all the fucking positive self-dialogue, all right? Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you that you can do that shit. You better start telling yourself that you can do it, all right? I believe in you. I believe in you. And also, too, please go look up Robert Anthony. He's amazing. He's amazing in what he does to open up discussion about prosthetics and artificial limbs and empowerment for amputees. Like, for real, for real. Don't let shit stop you. Don't let shit stop you. Don't let shit stop you, people. Just don't, okay? You can do it. I love you all. I'm sure I'll go live again at some point. All right, be blessed. And I do want to leave you with this. Universe. Universe, I am so prepared to receive all of the blessings and greatness you have for my life today and every day. You better fucking manifest that, bitch. Because there's greatness inside of you. Love you all.